For 1,000 years, the world knew only one truth. Where the black shadow of Valerius fell, history ended. The Sunless Vanguard had consumed the West. They had shattered the icy peaks of the North and burned the ancient libraries of the East. To them, the Earth was no longer a living, breathing entity. It was merely a map waiting to be conquered. But their map was incomplete. At the very edge of the Eastern Ocean, where the sun first kisses the Earth, lay a small, S-shaped strip of land. To the warlord emperor, sitting upon his golden Gothic throne, it was a trivial oversight, a minor stain on his perfect canvas of absolute domination. He ordered his vanguard to march, expecting the same swift capitulation, the same weeping kings offering their crowns in the dirt. But he did not know that this land did not fight with castles of stone. It fought with the very breath of the earth itself. When the black iron tide marched into the dense, towering tropical rainforests, their glorious invincibility began to rot.
For honor, for glory.
The jungle did not welcome them. It consumed them. Torrential monsoon rains poured from the heavens, an endless deluge that rusted their pristine siege engines and blinded their scouts. The earth beneath their feet turned into a suffocating, bottomless mud that swallowed their heavy iron boots. Every step required the strength of 10 men. And then, the true terror began. They were not met with grand, symmetrical armies standing on open fields. They were met with the wind, with invisible shadows that darted through the ancient trees. Deadly hidden traps, forged from simple bamboo, snapped their war machines in half. Arrows rained down from the unseen canopy, striking not just flesh, but striking a profound, paralyzing fear into the hearts of men who had never known defeat. The forest itself was bleeding them dry. For the first time in its bloody, millennium-long history, the invincible Sunless Vanguard broke. Deafened by the storm, blinded by the fog, and hunted by the shadows, they turned their backs. They abandoned their machines in the mud. They retreated. News of the retreat reached the capital not as a whisper, but as an earthquake. In the high Gothic halls, the warlord emperor was consumed by a blinding, obsessive madness. He violently swept the silver pieces from his war table, his eyes burning with an unnatural fire. His pride, inflated by 1,000 victories, could not fathom that a tiny sliver of green had halted his divine right to rule the world. He decreed that if the jungle protected them, he would burn the jungle. If the earth shielded them, he would crush the earth. The massive iron foundries of the Valerius Empire roared to life, burning day and night until the sky itself choked on black ash. Thousands of thick black iron lances were lowered simultaneously, creating a terrifying forest of metal pointing directly at the heart of the defenders. A lightning bolt flashed across the sky, reflecting off the cold, emotionless black armor of the Emperor. He smirked, seeing no stone walls, no grand fortresses to overcome. Only a thin line of warriors standing on an open, muddy field. But as the Emperor looked closer, the smirk faded from his lips. The defenders did not cower. They did not tremble. Standing firmly on their sacred soaked soil, wearing lightweight woven armor, they locked their bamboo shields together. Their eyes burned with a fierce, unbreakable patriotism. They were not fighting for a king. They were fighting for their mothers, their children, and the very dirt beneath their feet. Suddenly, breaking through the gray storm, a banner was raised high into the violent wind. A flag of brilliant, defiant red, pierced by a shining five-pointed golden star, and beside it, the sacred golden letter S. It fluttered aggressively, standing as a proud beacon against the Dark Army. It was not just a flag, it was the bleeding soul of the nation. Standing at the absolute front line, rain pouring down his scarred face, the leader of the defenders raised his sword to the heavens. He took a deep breath and made a vow that would echo through eternity. With a violent drop of his gauntlet, the Emperor of May the 1st claimed to the state, to the court, the course his wrath. The heavy cavalry charged, an apocalyptic avalanche of iron and flesh. The ground shook violently as tens of thousands of armored beasts galloped at full speed, their lances ready to pierce the green wall. But the earth had remembered its children. As the massive cavalry violently crashed toward the defenders' spear wall, the sheer, arrogant weight of the Valerius Empire became its ultimate doom. The thin topsoil of the plain shattered. The charging war horses suddenly plunged chest deep into hidden, bottomless mud bogs. The glorious charge was instantly paralyzed. Because of their blinding speed, the rear cavalry lines smashed violently into the stuck front lines, creating a catastrophic, deafening pileup of screaming horses and crushing metal. The heavy iron armor, once their greatest pride, their symbol of invincibility, now became an inescapable iron tomb. Pinned down in the thick, suctioning mud, the elite knights could not even stand. Then, the agile defenders struck. Vaulting lightly over the sinking horses, the warriors of the S-shaped land systematically dismantled